Thank you so much for watching my interviews here at the Louisiana State Capitol. With me today in this interview is Louisiana State Representative Tammy Phelps, District 3, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you so much for coming on there. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me today.
Well, I always see you walking around the floor, talking to everybody, gathering information from what I can see. Is that correct?
That is correct. Information is key in this place.
Well,
Information is key in this place.
And just networking. I like that you've been doing that. Well, I want to talk about some of your legislation here to let people know what's going on up here in Baton Rouge.
And I'm glad you can help me with that. All right.
Well, it's funny because I know from watching and doing a lot of the interviews that you guys are busy, not only busy with your own legislation. There's like 1,000-something bills that were filed this session, and you're working with other people on their legislation, and then there's amendments and all these resolutions. So I got them all right here in front of me. Here we go. So we got House Bill 316 provides for Louisiana high school seniors voter registration day.
I love that one. That's something that I've been working on for 4 years now. I'm very pleased with the outcome. This is just really a commencing day because students have an opportunity to register whenever their school districts allow them to do that. So Mr. Robert Jackson from Shreveport has been highlighted with this effort, for over 20 years with his registration process. And I began to work toward getting this day of recognition. I think in 1996, former Representative Ernest Baylor had a resolution in his honor. 2002, I think then Congressman McCrary had a resolution in Congress then, and just recently last year, Senator who did it? David Cassidy.
Okay.
Senator Cassidy did one last year, 23, recognizing that day, which is the first Monday after the Tuesday after the first Monday. And that was kind of given by Mr. Jackson because that is the latest, farthest away from Super Tuesday in November for you to register. So the day is just a commencement to say, hey, seniors, just recognition. Have you voted? They don't have to vote register on that day. But it's just I would like to look at it as just a senior activity where they can highlight and have the conversation and just kind of think about that they've already done that school year. And this is the last day they're graduating, and at least they've accomplished.
It's just a way to help encourage people to register to vote.
Yes, really commencing because they've already registered during the school year.
Okay.
Because they're almost about to graduate in May.
What if they have like some seniors that are 17 years old or?
They can do that.
They can do that?
They can do that, right. And this day here in May, because it's close to graduation, again, like they've already registered from whatever day up until April, So just the recognition throughout the state, it just allows Louisiana to have that day. And again, I just like to say commencing the efforts that they've already done. And some may be able to register on that day, but we definitely wanted to let the Secretary of State and also the voter registration in each parish know that they do not have to do anything. We're not requiring. But if that's an opportunity that they have to assist, then please do so.
Get them involved. I like that. I like another way to get young people involved.
Yes.
HB
so they can replace us here one day.
One day.
One day.
HB 334 provides relative to private insurance for certain deposits and shares.
Another honor. I was very pleased to bring this piece of legislation for the credit unions. There was a piece of legislation we had that was able to be passed last year. That there was a lender who was willing to, I'm going to say, secure these loans where they can actually, how can I say this, raise their insured amounts.
Okay.
So this gives the credit unions an opportunity to raise their lending expenditures more than they've done over in the past.
And this is something that has to be legislatively done?
Yes.
Okay.
And they had that thought long before, again, 3 years ago. It just never took off, I guess, and we were able to. It was a two-part legislation, and again, one piece passed last year. And you may remember we got into a little political battle over here on the House side, and so there was not enough votes for, I guess, my party, to have that 2/3 vote in order for the bills to be heard on the Senate floor. So this bill also got over to the Senate floor last year, but kind of didn't move from the
Didn't
floor.
move this year.
Last year.
Last year.
Yeah, I didn't get a 2/3 vote on the House side
But-
to allow it.
But
to be
this
passed.
year it's
We're
going.
in. We're
This year
in.
you're
We've
in.
done it. I already sent to the governor.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
Sent
Look,
to the
there's
governor.
got to be some sense of satisfaction when you can get something out of both sides, of this building and get it over to the governor. Then
Yes.
because people don't realize, Representative Phelps, that everybody thinks that it's just a majority vote,
Oh.
but they don't realize that it goes through a committee on one side, then a vote, goes to a committee
Then
on
on the
another
other
side,
side,
and
then
then
a
a big
vote.
vote in the main house. And these things can die in committees much easier than they can die
true.
on the side. But when you get through both committees, both houses, and to the governor's desk, there's a sense of satisfaction that you brought
Yes.
people together on something
That
to
is
help to
true.
benefit.
That's true. And it can start with, because when I saw that the president had signed it, that was a great relief. But again, these are 2 of the 5 bills that I had that were passed last year on the Senate floor, and just want constituents to know, like you're saying, sometimes it takes another year.
So 367 is an early childhood when it provides relative to pupil appraisal and services for children transitioning from early steps to services provided by the local public school system upon their 3rd birthday.
Yes. Again, just for our little ones, our Department of Health has the services of early steps that provides disability services to newborns from birth to 2 years old, whether that's being developmentally delayed or speech. And they do a wonderful job. I'm so proud to even represent them and see what they do across the state. So when these children turn 3, they are actually transitioning to the public school system. And so we want to make, Early Steps has done a great job getting their information, getting the students' files ready so they can transfer over to the public school system. However, this bill is just to make sure that some students do not fall between the cracks. And let's say they have a summer birthday and they're turning 3 in May, but some schools are out. Some departments say they do not evaluate until the next school year. Well, if that student has turned 3, he's waiting until September to be evaluated for transitioning to the public
When the
school
school
system.
year's already started.
When the school year started, so that's September, and that's too long of a wait. So we just, when I learned of that, this bill is just an effort to make sure that, and I wanted to make no mention that Early Steps is actually doing a wonderful job, but some school systems do not evaluate during the summer.
This just kind of gets everybody on board because I didn't realize that until you were 3 years old. I guess if you're in a preschool or a daycare, that's not a public school system, obviously. But this is or before 3. This is just a way to get everybody on board to get that child into the public school system.
This is the way to say, school system, you need to do your evaluation before you leave in the summer.
Okay.
Maybe that's an easier way to say
I'm always looking. That's fantastic.
Maybe, and I was just thinking that's the easiest thing that we were saying. Have them evaluated and ready for school in September. Do not come back in September and then
And then if you evaluate a 3-year-old,
and then you don't get them in until January.
Yeah, exactly. Or you get them in and they find that they're behind, and had they been evaluated before the end of the school year, we would know. That's great.
And those services actually continue. So what Early Steps was doing, those services continue in the public school system. And there's a breakdown if you're waiting until January or September, because they will not be receiving those services.
I love this.
Thank you.
I mean, I love the fact that people like yourself, representatives, but just people, you're paying attention to what other people need, what their needs are.
Thank you.
And in a case like this, how many children were falling in the cracks?
Yeah.
How many children weren't getting the evaluations that they needed to make sure that they were even ready to start school at 3 years old, with their services, and this puts it on the radar. Hey, this child's ready, or this child's not ready, and it gives them that start that they need, before they just get thrown to school. This is good.
And at no fault of their own. And again, with Early Steps already doing that, and Early Steps will, like I said, there's a breakdown when those services end. If you're going to wait till May, and then they're not there till September. This
is like another rung in the ladder, going off of another bill that's in session right now, where a child cannot advance to 4th grade unless they have the proper reading skills from 3rd grade.
Well, I think
And
it's different.
it's
And
no, this is very different. No, I get it. This is basically just say if they're make sure they're ready. That's just kind of a check after they've been there for a couple years. It's just another rung in the
well,
ladder on a child's way to graduate.
well, let's say this. I think it's more not necessarily if they're ready. It's just that their services continue.
Right.
There's a break in. They'll still be in school and they'll still do all those things.
Exactly.
But they won't be getting the services that Early Steps has provided for them since birth or
I love
before age
this.
2.
I love the thought there. You've got, let's see, HB 555 establishes an amnesty program for fines, fees, and assessments imposed by the Office of Motor Vehicles.
I have to regretfully say that I did not run that bill. There was a very large fiscal note on there, but I did want to bring attention to the Transportation Committee on the number of fees and outstanding fees that our constituents have throughout the state due to motor vehicles, fines, and fees.
Well,
It was a number.
Well, no.
Very large.
Well, what I recognize is like, and I'm going to commend you on something else. I have all these attaboys, because it's better to kill a bad bill or to not file the bad bill or not move forward with a bad bill, just to have that win. When you did like what a lot of other representatives do, if they recognize there's an error with it or a problem with it or it needs in this case a fiscal note, they say, hey, let's table this, let's shelve
Yes.
it, so we can improve it to where it's worth passing, for the state.
It is.
And
And it's
I'm-
worth passing. It's going to take some work.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, even with that bill, these fines and fees go to support the Public Safety Department, which
Right.
is State Police and OMV.
So it's very
but the-
crucial.
It's crucial, but I think we can make some adjustments with the fines.
Okay.
The fines have a very hefty number there.
I like that you have your eye on the details on this one. Let's see, you got 568 provides relative to sanctions for a lapse in required vehicle liability security.
I'm smiling on that one. Just passed that one through Senate committee this morning.
Good deal.
This morning.
I think I've heard about this, but I'm going to let you share
Yeah,
it.
again, this is one of those third-year bills. Last year was on the Senate floor.
Mhm.
Again, so I'm pleased that we made it out again. But again, that brought awareness to the number of people who just say today, you may be transferring your insurance from Allstate to State Farm, and you ended on the 30th, and you pay from beginning on the 1st. Sometimes it's for some unknown reason, your new insurance does not pick up until on the 2nd. You have a one-day lapse. There really shouldn't be any fault of your own, but now that will cost you $125 plus reinstatement if you have to do that. But it will be per vehicle, and then I can say with the stay-at-home or working from home employees that we have, you can't even just go to the Office of Motor Vehicles and pay that fine. So now you have to go to the tag agency. So now you're paying more for that because you're going to expedite your service. But it should not be that fee there. So what this bill would do is any persons who have just a 1 to 5 day lapse, or really a 0 to 5 day, because it starts at 12:01, the $125 is waived for your first time offense.
Okay.
And we're thinking of college students or just someone who may have gotten into a credit card number change, someone switching insurance, some things. And I forgot to even mention this in committee. We have a grace period on our inspection sticker.
That's right.
So
30 days.
Exactly. So that
You're
was
just
the
asking
thought
for a day
behind
here.
it. Within 5.
Yeah, exactly right.
So I'm real pleased to have that again. That started with the constituent column office in 2020 with the $5,000 debt to the Office of Motor Vehicle.
Wow.
And I know that throughout the state there are a lot more, and that was a part of the information that I shared in that amnesty
And like you
bill.
said, there's so many people that it was not intentional.
Oh.
It was, it was nothing that they were trying to skate on. It was simply, like you said, sometimes change insurance. And I also heard there's also another crack on this is that what happened, or crack on what happens to people with their insurance, that if they buy a car, sometimes they transfer the insurance of the new car. Sometimes the car dealership doesn't do the transfer
Talked about
on the
that
exact
today.
day. Exactly right.
Talked about
And
that
this helps
today.
and this helps solve that
it
problem.
will help that because I did. And that's an incident that I heard about this morning.
There you go.
Very much so. And can I say
Sure,
too,
absolutely.
that the ones that with these $5,000 debts and things that I referenced, that just goes back to some things that we have to make better in Louisiana. because our insurance cost is affected from credit reporting, your income,
That's right. This affects credit
education.
report. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you and I may have a different rate than someone
Yeah.
else, but the persons that actually have these high debt in office and motor vehicles may be someone of less income, but there's no set time. You can have a lifetime of lapses. It continues. You can have 15, you can have 20 over your lifetime where something has happened because of your income. So those are the three things that we still have to work on when it comes to the cost.
So
of
is
our
568 and 555, are they kind of companion bills? Because the 555 was established as an amnesty program for fines, fees, and assessments. And then 568 that we just talked about provides relative to sanctions for a lapse in required vehicle liability security.
And you can say that, but they definitely were two issues that are within the Office of Motor Vehicles that I've seen. One, wanted to try to provide some relief for those who have these high fines and fees of bill, I guess.
So that was the amnesty program. They're referring to the high dets that you're talking about. So these people.
How can we relieve them of that?
Yeah.
Because it's ongoing. You get into a payment plan, you miss a payment, you got to pay to get back in it. It's a lot of fines and fees.
And so the amnesty program is it's kind of a companion for that helps take care of the people who had those problems, or maybe they didn't have the problems, but maybe it's a way for the state to get their money back, on a discounted or amnesty way.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
But we're going to work on that again next year if I'm able to.
Because it's not going through.
I didn't run it. Yeah.
Okay.
We had the conversation, and I wanted to put it on the committee's mind.
Well, again, the conversation being had, helps people think about solving problems in the future that help the people of our state.
And they could relate because all of us have had concerns of with these fees and fines and the service throughout the state, and trying to even better the service from that department. So we're going to work hard to change that.
So we got 54 commends Reverend Ronald Perkins to the occasion of his 20th anniversary as pastor of Greater Zion Mission Baptist Church. I read that in its entirety, give him credit, but I'll let you explain it.
But I was honored to do that in that 20th anniversary. That is actually my home church where actually I grew up there. And just right across from my office, I'm real pleased to still be in my neighborhood, of which I grew up and still able to serve. So that was just an honor to be able to present him with that.
And your last one is HR 80, commends the AmeriCorps Seniors Southern University at Shreveport Foster Grandparent Volunteer Program.
We were able to do that again this year. Very thankful. We know that those foster grandparent programs really helps our elementary age students. And they've been doing that for quite a while, and I'm really, really thankful again to just congratulate them on that.
Love that
service.
Any comments on the budget bill?
Ooh, man.
I mean, I know it's maybe 20 seconds.
I wish we were in a different situation. We really don't know what's going to transpire tomorrow. They are meeting in the morning, so I guess we have to wait and see.
See what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. You're kind of waiting. I guess it's a wait and see.
I don't want to get worked up.
Let's exactly. I get it.
What happens? Where do we need to be? What are we looking for?
Well, I hope I hope it's a fiscally responsible approach.
I do.
That improves our state.
And that we can definitely expand the expenditures to give our teachers a pay raise that's well deserved, which really I would hope was more than what's even being proposed. But that should have been a no-brainer. We'll leave that for another day.
Well, Representative Phelps, did you know that
Good one.
that I'm promoting some legislation that would require the legislators to update their pictures on the legislative site, so the pictures are current instead of being their high school pictures or their pictures from 12 years ago. Would you support that legislation?
Do they not use the ones from that we do at the beginning of the term?
Well, they do, but you just got elected. This is your first term, right? You see,
and they took pictures.
They got legislators that have pictures from. Would you support that legislation?
I think they should be using their current picture that we use at the beginning of each term.
All right,
I think they would be using that
and they're always debating the chicken sandwich on the floor. So if we're going to debate the chicken sandwich, would you make the chicken sandwich a state sandwich? Or is there
I-
another sandwich that would be the state sandwich?
Well, I think we have to work on that one because
All right.
some people may say some type of boudin sandwich or.
So you're saying they should have a study? We should have a
I
study?
think we should have a study.
All right. Representative Phelps, thank you so much for being on with me. I really.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's what it's all about. I try to find a little lightheartedness on it. I try to end in some humor. I try to inform some people in a positive way, and you've helped me do that, and I appreciate
you do
it.
that very nicely, and I appreciate you for being interested in all of us. 105 is a lot.
Oh, it is.
But we appreciate the time and the patience that you take just for us to give you an opportunity to update you on what's going on.
I just want to update the people of Louisiana what's going on in the most positive, non-ideological way possible, so that way we can inform people and help them involved.
Well, it's
Thank
been
you.
nice knowing you, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Everybody else, please share the interview. You'll check it out on a podcast or on podcast apps at William Wallace for America. And like I said, stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.